Hi, everybody. On today's talk on the Aware Artist, we're talking about the concept of trust and why apparently in the music business and industry there are so many scammers and scams. Let's dive right in. At a certain moment, I started asking myself why there are so many scammers in music. And yeah, so today I wanted to talk about what I discovered, my 2 cents and my thoughts about that, but most of all, how to recognize a scammer and a scam. So, starting on the origin, or actually, what's the trigger of the scams, and especially in music, of course, we make focus on the music. I found two main topics, two main areas where actually the idea of the people that are trying to sell something that it's impossible to sell is being born. So the first thing is about what music is for human beings. I think that music is one of the most powerful things whenever it's about tapping into emotions. So it's something that it's very practical by the way that we look into that as of today's, like, music business, being on stage, having a lot of followers. These are the kind of the derivatives, the how we turned music into the real life. But actually the concept of music itself is much more powerful and much deeper than that. And as we saw in other videos, this is just a modern representation of what music is. But actually the centuries and the millennia before the modern era and the modern industry, music has been lived in a very different way. So by having this very powerful tool and this straight highway to people's emotions, whenever you're talking about this, we're tapping and we're triggering something that's much deeper and much more important. So we're talking about dreams, we're talking about self-esteem, we're talking about projections, we're talking about the whole concept of the transcendence and the intangible in a modern world where we all feel very empty, very void, purposeless. Whenever just like working for a paycheck, buying a house, having a family, there's nothing wrong in that. But the point is that we all feel that these things can be void if we are void. So we turn to art and music as a way to fill ourselves. And we know that whenever we are making music and when we can make music, we feel better, actually. It's a matter of fact. And there are a lot of studies backing this up. So it's no longer just a matter of believing it. It's something that chemically, scientifically, vibrationally, a lot of people, a lot of practices, a lot of professionals are saying from different ways why this happens and why this is so important. So whenever we have this access, if I tell you that I can grant you access to something, that I can make something happen related to music, intrinsically and indirectly, I'm speaking about your self-esteem, your idea of happiness, projection, even some traumas that you're trying to unconsciously heal through music. We will talk about this in a different chapter because that's a whole new concept. It's a world opening before my eyes. I'm studying this concept actually, how art can heal trauma and can help us heal all. But so the bad people actually know that when they're speaking about this, they're tapping into this. And so of course it's much easier than to get you open your wallet, because you are buying your emotions. What you think you're buying is your projection, your self-esteem, and your concept of self-realization. And this is one part of it. The second part is, I believe, is simply because when the music industry was born, for the first 10 to 15 years, people were randomly trying to build everything, even making a record. The famous music producer at that era, the recording engineers, the mixing engineers, they are saying that basically whenever they were first recording the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Elvis, they will randomly doing things because they were learning how to do it. The artist was the genius, and so they had to record that on tape, but the whole technology, how to make it, how to properly mix it, how to make it sound right on vinyls, on radio, on different stations, it was something that they were in the process of learning. So for 10 to 15 years, actually, they were enthralled into that, and all of a sudden, well, not that sudden, but they learned how much money you could make out of that. And so I know no sector and environment in the human history life, that whenever a lot of money comes in, greed and corruption is not, knocking at that door. So just to give you an example, the average record deal for an artist, like a rock artist in the 70s and the 80s, was about $250,000, which means that you are an artist and you're getting signed to a label for recording your next album. You are handed over, or they are putting on the table $250,000, and to make the recording, the marketing, and stuff. So if you could get to sell 100,000 copies was $1 million. 200,000 copies were $2 million. So you could get like 4 to 1, 8 to 1, 12 to 1. So it was a crazy investment, and then everything got connected to the power, because whenever money comes in, there's also the concept of power. For the modern world, when you have money, apparently you have power, or at least some kind of power. So then the other kind of scam came in, which is the energetic abuse. It's the concept of, okay, I am the empowered one, so I can control you, I can own you, I do own you. So it's not just a matter of saying you're in, you're out, you can make it, you can't, but it's the concept that I am the one holding the keys to success, and so whoever comes to me gets to be initiated, but I'm owning that person. So the biggest scams actually were not pulled through amateur people just like robbing or screwing us over between them, like, okay, I'm paying $500 to a producer that's never gonna send me a beat instrumental. The biggest scams were when a major artist, when a major label, when a manager, somebody who did have a curriculum, was looking for you or looking into you by promising that it's okay, you rock, we're gonna make you a superstar. So the emotional state and the emotional abuse that was taking place in that moment is that you were looking up to these people, so you were in awe, you were willing to do anything, because for you they didn't just represent the way to success, to economic success, but they were representing the idea of success, what we thought that it was the concept of success. So you were like, please make me your school me, make me your student, because master, I'm gonna following through. So whenever these people were betraying the trust and were not keeping the promises, because here these kind of things you can't promise. We've talked about that before. And the music industry, one of the biggest lies was that there were some people who could could bring people to success, or at least that worldwide success. So whenever these promises were failing, you were feeling robbed, not just of your money, but of your dreams, of your authenticity, of your purity, call it wherever you want. It was like a much deeper theft. And from those thefts, most of the times you didn't recover. And the history of the music industry is filled with this kind of stories. And actually, even the successful ones you've seen over the past couple of months, like the Diddy's parties and stuff like that, meaning that whenever an artist was breaking, many times, I would say, to my knowledge, is at least more than the 50% of times, these artists weren't breaking because they got it. It's because they were into a circuit. They decided consciously or unconsciously to hand over something which was worth much more than their money. In some cases, some would say their soul, in exchange for potential success. So these two things, like a powerful and straight highway to people's emotions, linked to our inner self, and the way to project ourselves, like art and music, coupled with the concept, the spectrum of power, and actually the status quo itself, coupled, in my opinion, this greed for wanting more. It wasn't, again, some of the biggest scammers aren't the poor people trying to scam on other poor people. They are the rich ones, or supposedly those who are on top. They are greed. So the scam is about sucking you, drying you out from your energy and your dreams. To head over the end of this video, in my opinion, the awareness is what can call a scam and what can actually get you recover the concept of trust. Because also one other huge lie, not about the music industry but anything, is that the concept of self-made man, self-made woman. Guys, there is no one who accomplishes something important alone in this life, and even something that's not technically or publicly important. We're not pulling this off alone. We're social beings. We search for that, we look for that, we thrive when we have actually connections. And there are a lot of studies that say how lonely we're feeling over the last decades. And so that's why we're getting more ill, we're getting more sick, we're getting less prosperous and successful for us. We're being less healthy, by the way, because we're disconnected. We're not alone, but we feel lonely. So everyone who accomplished something did because there were some people around him, around her. Doesn't matter who was in the spotlight. There are always a team of people. So we need to trust somebody. It's not just to accomplish practically something, but it's also healthy for our soul. When you trust someone, when you say, okay, I trust my mom, I trust my boyfriend, trust my girlfriend, it's a relief. You feel like, okay, because again, the life can be very difficult. So knowing that you are not alone, or even if you are, there's somebody who's standing by your side. It's such a relief, and actually, it's like a boost for accomplishing things when things go south, or when they're not turning in the right moment at our way. So in order to recover trust, we have to learn how to trust, and we have to stop believing what can't be true, or at least not in that case. So the whole concept of being aware is that, first of all, the how to recognize a scam is when things are putting too easy. Like I said, remember, no one can control what and how a star is created, is born. So whenever somebody is telling you, yeah, we're gonna make you viral, we're gonna make this a hit, we're gonna make you popular, we're gonna make people love you, this sentence, especially the last one, is the revealing sentence. Let's say it again. We're gonna make people love you. That's something that we can't make. We can't promise. I can be exposed to 1 million people, but I will never know. I will never know how many people will feel resonating with me, will in a certain way engage positively and vibrationally with me. So you can buy exposure, you can buy publicity, you can buy visibility, but you can't buy people's love. And ultimately, to have fans, you need people love, because a fan is a person who's moved by an emotion. It's not just something that, okay, you show me that you can't sing, or you're on stage perhaps 50 years ago. But right now, we're seeing people making music and singing every day, and we're not simply engaging with them. We're not feeling emotionally connected. We're not becoming a fan of these people. Perhaps we're becoming a follower in many cases, but being a follower and being a fan is completely, there are two different things. So whenever you're being told that this is easy, that there is someone who can grant you that, because again, think about it, they're not delivering something concrete like, okay, do you want exposure? I'm gonna give it to you. They're delivering the dream, the final dream. And that's also insulting in a way, because they're telling what you have to dream, what you have to wish. And this, in my opinion, is personal. Everyone has different wishes, and God protect those wishes, because they have to be different. By the time, and that happens a lot, by the time that we all have the same dream, we all have the same wish, there's something wrong there. So the concept is that know that these things aren't possible. Work on and within yourself, because you need to stop wanting to believe this, because whenever you're wanting to believe this, you're actually applying the mentality of the shortcut. And the shortcut is that, okay, through these people or that person, I'm gonna reach the top. And so you're actually trying to shortcut the things, to cut the process, because you don't want uncertainty, but most of all, you don't want to evolve during the process. So guys, that was pretty much it. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think about the concept of trust. If you're experiencing problems in trusting people, if you had any scam or something that you want to share with the rest of the community, because sharing and calling for scammers, we don't need to put names here, but it will make the community to know that there are some people out there, but there are also the good people, because that's the point. You might be finding a lot of people who are trying to trick and tap into your emotions, but there are a lot of other good people that want you to succeed as an artist and as a person and as a vibrational soul. So again, thanks for listening, and see you the next time.